Fantastic. Vai. Allora, amici di Saily, abbiamo una leggenda. We have a legend here in Genoa for the arrival of the ocean race, Sir Robin Knox Johnston. No needs to any other presentation. The name and the face is says everything about you. Robin, thank you for coming.
Right.
What do you think about this ocean race, this arrival, the ocean life, the village and the Genoa? Welcome to the mariners. Genoa is a sea city and welcome the mariners, the sailors.
Well, Genoa is the biggest port in the Mediterranean. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very important port. And of course, with wonderful historical, a lot of history attached to it. But I think anything that encourages racing and sailing, particularly sailing, and I like racing, but anything that gets people to go out and sail is good.
Yeah.
And so I'm in favor of anything that does that.
Yes, for sure. You recently followed the Golden Globe, no? The Don McIntyre regatta, that is the race that you won so many years ago. And here in the ocean race is very different. It's a historical race for crew. And this last edition has two classes, BUO 65 and IMOCA 60. It's the first edition with the IMOCA 60. Many observers say that IMOCA 60 could be the future of the ocean race. What do you think?
I think it's always complicated if you have more than one class. That's the first thing. The public, who perhaps don't understand racing, don't really understand handicaps.
Yeah,
Therefore, you do want a single class.
one class.
And you say, well, the boat in the front is leading,
Yeah,
and no one's confused. I think it's a question of getting the right boats for the job. I think it's very sad there were only 5 IMOCAs here.
yes.
And it's a pity there weren't more. We'd have made more of an event for it. But you know, who knows? You never know how it's going to develop, do you?
Yes.
You have to try something to see if it works.
Yeah, absolutely you have to try. We have the ocean race, we have the Van de Globe, we have many round the world regattas with different kind of boats, even a Globe 40 regatta with the class 40. It's difficult to understand for the public who is the most important race. Perhaps the quantity is not always the same that quality, no?
No, I think that's right. That's why in the Clipper race, all my boats
Clipper
are the
race,
same.
your race.
They're all the
Yes,
same.
absolutely.
Because then you know who's winning.
Yeah.
And you can go around the world, have a good point system, and give amateur sailors a chance to sail like professionals.
Yeah.
But anything that gets people afloat is great. I mean, you've got the Golden Globe. You're going to have the next race starts in September. Clipper race starts in September. This race, when it takes place again, where will it start from? We don't know. What boats? We don't know. There's a lot in the air, but there's time. But there's actually, in the 40s now doing around the world, we're getting a lot of around the world races.
Yeah, a lot around the world races. The world is small for sailing yachts.
It's getting crowded down there.
Robin, your experience in the Whitbread around the world race, no? What do you remember of this experience?
Oh, beating Tarbley
Yeah.
in the last leg. It's the only time he raced in that race. And I beat him by 4 hours. And that wasn't a handicap, it was boat on boat.
Yeah.
And coming into the finish and knowing I got the lead, great feeling. But you know, I had a great crew on Condor. We were all amateurs in those days, no one paid us. We raced because we wanted to.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're not a damn good crew. I had a very good crew. I mean, they could probably be better than a lot of these so-called professional crews because they wanted it.
Yeah.
They're enthusiastic.
In fact, this is something related to the characters of sailors.
Great.
Ocean sailing is changing in this recently now in the decades. What do you think? How is change the skills that ocean sailors need to be strong, to be good sailors? No, what is the value of the ocean sailor?
Well,
now?
some of the skills are no longer being used. I mean, navigation is now done by computers. You know, we no longer navigate thinking about the weather. we get the weather. So that skill's gone. Navigation, you don't need to be a navigator. The work on the boats, especially on the Imocas, there's no spinnaker work. You know, all the work, all the things used to make it really exciting when you're watching a race. All the skills sailors had. How quickly do you change a sail? You do this. They're no longer so important. I think that's a pity.
It's a pity because the speed is something that changed the rule of the game, because when you sail around the world with long keel boats, you have the time to think and to have strategy. Now you have no time
to think.
no time. You fly on the water with foiling now.
You do. It's a different game,
Yeah.
and I think we just have to accept that there is one side of sailing which is going that way.
Okay.
You can see it in the America's Cup. And I've sailed on Ben's boat and it's phenomenal. And that's one side of it. And the other side, we're sort of in a way beginning to go back to where the crew had to have skills. They had to work.
Yes.
And in a way, I find myself very excited by developments like foils.
Yeah.
But at the same time thinking, well, actually, I rather like it when the crew have work to do. You know, their skill comes in. How quickly do they change that sail?
Because the importance of to be a real sailor, a real mariner.
It's crew work. It's teamwork. You don't really get that on these modern boats. It's all the computer says. You know, I like making the decisions.
Sir Robin Knox Johnston, thank you for coming in Genoa. Have you sailed in the Mediterranean? Some regatta, some
sea race.
That's a race.
Did that.
And in Genoa?
No, I haven't.
First time in Genoa?
No, it's my third.
Okay.
I came here when I was in the Merchant Navy, and I was here 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
So, and I know it. I know it. I've got friends in Genoa, Italian friends. So.
And your next sailing?
Saturday.
Where will be?
Saturday.
Okay.
Round the Isle of Wight.
Wow.
And I'm taking the boat. I went round the world in 53 years ago.
Yeah.
With my
Never
family.
Stop.
With my family. So,
Fantastic.
family crew. And we probably won't finish within the time limit.
Oh yes.
But we'll have fun.
Fantastic. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.